Hello, Nikita here. I just wanted to let you know that we are one stop shop. You may be saying, who are we? Say How You Feel Custom T-shirts, Just You Soap Company, J2415 Photography, Deliciousness on the Move, and Expressive Boutique Plus Size Clothing. If you are ever in need of natural body products, Just You Soap Company, visit us at justyousoapcompany.com. If you're ever in need of custom t-shirts, feel free to reach out by text to 615-779-2890 and we will definitely get you a quote. If you're ever in need of catering services, you can also reach out by text to 615-779-2890 or photography, the same number. Reach out by text to 615-779-2890. You can also inbox us or email us at the email addresses, provided in the description. As always, be blessed, be in peace, and remember to say how you feel.
Hello. This is Will,
This is Nikita.
and we are Let It Make Sense podcast. How y'all doing today? If you'd like to know what we're going to be talking about today, stay tuned.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm Rory Johnston. Carrie is off. Now, this all started with a conservative political commentator criticizing Vanderbilt Medical Center's transgender clinic, and that resulted in a counter demonstration supporting the trans community. News Channel 5's Jason Lamb was there and has a look at what went down.
Hundreds gathered on War Memorial Plaza after accusations from conservative commentator Matt Walsh claiming that Vanderbilt University Medical Center was performing gender transitional surgeries on minors.
I just remember back when I was a kid and bad decisions that I've made as a child that I'm glad my parents had me pump the brakes on.
A gathering of those supporting transgender rights showed up too.
People are trying to divide us, people are trying to stir us up, and it's very sad.
The debate got political.
I will do everything that I can do at the federal level to make certain that we protect our children and that we make certain that families and parents are making decisions for their children.
You can't justify this. There's nothing Christian, there's nothing biblical, there's nothing holy, there's nothing loving about this. All this does is suppress, hurt people, and tear people apart.
Vanderbilt University.
So we're back again with another episode, and this is episode 3 of Let It Make Sense podcast. And my lovely co-host and wife is going to talk about this. Let us know what we're talking about today.
As per usual. In the mornings, we watch the news via the local YouTube. And there was a local story about a rally that happened at our state capitol in regards to transgender children. So I got the lovely article that I'm going to be reading excerpts from our local WTVF, and it is a CBS affiliate. So the article says thousands rally near state capitol to end medical care for transgender kids. So it was 2 rallies going on at the same time. There was a rally of individuals for the medical care for transgender children, and then there was a rally for those who are opposed to transgender care for children, or medical care for trans children. I think that's the way I need to say it. So here in Nashville, Vanderbilt University Medical Center has a clinic for trans youth to receive medical care. Now, I'll say for me, I don't disagree with the medical care for the trans youth, and the reason why I don't is because if this child has decided that this is how they feel, they, maybe are already starting to present, as a
But when we say
girl,
medical care, what do we mean?
So the basis of it is that the children, and I'm going to read it actually up a portion of the article is something that one of the doctors from Vanderbilt said. Let me see if I can go to it real quick, and I'll just tell you.
Because I don't
Let's
know
see. Oh, here we go.
what they're saying about medical care.
So VUMC said they require parental consent to treat minors who are being seen for issues to those receiving gender affirming care and never refuse parental involvement for those under 18. VUMC officials said they began their transgender health clinic because transgender individuals are a high risk population for mental and physical health issues and have been consistently underserved by the U.S. health system. So I can only suppose, because I'm not, in the LGBTQ community, but I can only suppose that what has happened is that these young people have gone to their regular pediatricians, their regular doctors, and maybe they don't want to treat them because they're transgender, right? So either in this article or another article, which I'm going to be reading from as well, Vanderbilt University says if they have individuals who don't want to treat the children, they don't, penalize them for not wanting to treat them. They might not want to treat them for more issues, religious issues or whatever, and that's fine. They still get the treatment, but whatever. So at the basis of it, there's that, just them getting regular checkups, regular care. But
now, I don't agree with that. I think that they should, their kids.
yeah, so it's a health clinic.
Yeah.
So I applaud them for even taking the step of saying there's a need here and we're gonna fill it. So we're gonna fulfill this need. The issue is coming in with the hormone treatments and the gender assignment surgery. So let me see if I can find it. Okay, so this all started with a blogger, a conservative blogger named Matt Walsh. So he took issue with gender affirmation care procedures at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. Let me put a pin here very quickly. So these conservatives who were at this rally, they don't rallied who were at the rally, they don't want these children to get any gender affirming care. Okay, they don't want them to just get the checkups. They don't want them to get anything. Now I think, because I don't want to lie again, I don't, that these are just, they're able to be seen, da 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 da. The other part of it is that they're getting hormone treatments.
Okay, so here's my thing. I'll say it this way. As far as the checkups, the mental health and things like that, yes, I can agree to that. I think that you should. I think that if a child is presenting or wanting to present as something other than what they're born as, or they're wanting to, transgender or whatever the case may be, I don't have a problem with that, but I do have a problem with you allowing them to do it at a young age. If they come tell you at 14, oh, I want to be whatever. And here's the thing. It's funny. You always hear about men transitioning from man to woman, but you rarely hear about women transitioning from male to female, from female to male, or however that goes. So I just find it very interesting. But because it's like the biggest topic is the man going from the male to the female, and that's the biggest issue. But here's the thing. I think that if you're 14, go through 4 years of counseling, not to change your mind, but 4 years of counseling to make sure you understand the ramifications, not ramifications, for lack of a better word, the things you're gonna go through mentally and physically. Make sure, because here's the thing: if you want to do it at 14, you'll want to do it at 18. You know what I mean? It's not something you have to do right now.
Yeah, I think that parents should be supportive, but if they have to sign off on them getting the procedures, has the due diligence been done to be sure this is really what the child wants? And I'm not saying that all of these parents are pushing them, to go get the treatment or whatever it is, but have they done the due diligence to make sure that this is really what the child wants? I just really quickly. So the article says, again, from our local CBS affiliate, WTVF, an average of 5 per year happen. And these are these gender affirming procedures. Hospital officials said, and none were genital procedures. Those under 18 were also at least 16 years of age, VUMC officials said. So I was trying to find where basically they've done something. And I don't know because I cannot find exactly what it is they've done. I want to say that when we were watching one of the videos on YouTube that they did a mastectomy. So they're doing gender affirming surgeries, and I guess it's on the lines of like mastectomies, but they're not doing any genital procedures. But for me, anything that you do that alters the child from what that's permanent, that's a lot if they're under the age of 18. That's just me personally, because I do not think that a child under the age of 18, I don't care if their parents signed off on it or not. Now, you decided in Tennessee, I don't know, is this national or just in Tennessee, but they have to be 21 now to buy tobacco?
National, across the board.
Okay, so I don't smoke cigarettes, I don't buy tobacco, so I really don't know.
I believe it's across the board.
But if they have to be 21 to buy tobacco, they have to be 21 to
buy a gun.
Buy a gun. They have to be 21 to be able to legally drink. You know, all of these things you can't even get. I think you have to be 25 to rent a car. You know,
well, it's like I said earlier. You can't consent to
have
relationships,
to have
a sexual relations with somebody at 16.
Right.
But I can change my whole gender
with parental consent.
That don't even make sense.
I just don't understand.
So if
I don't know.
If I consent to my 14-year-old, I can consent to my 14-year-old changing their gender, but I can't. Can I consent to them going to marry some 25-year-old or whatever? And I wouldn't never. I'm not saying that should be done, but I'm saying let's put things in perspective. There are so many things that they can't consent to, you know, that we don't look at that. We're saying, oh, well, this is different. This just affects them. No, it's not. It doesn't just affect them. It affects, and then how does it affect them? Because you at 14 are not the same person that you're going to be at 28. Let's just be honest. At 24. Now I got a question, and maybe you guys can comment in the comments, but what is your take on the, and I just found out about this today, doing the research for this podcast. What is your take on what is the blocker thing?
Puberty blocker.
Puberty blocker.
Mm-hmm.
Is that going? Is that something that you, as a parent, would you consider allowing a child to get a puberty blocker?
I wouldn't. I mean, but you know, to each his own. I mean, you know, you live in the house with your child. You have the conversations, and of course, we know, you know, unfortunately, children who not. Let me go back. Not we know personally, but we've seen in the news children who, you know, they side or they have these issues because they're not able to live their truth or whatever. So, but I just feel like some of these things are permanent and drastic. Like I'd have to look it up, but how can you reverse these hormone treatments? You know, and I'm not trying to sound ignorant, but my thing for young people is give them the ability and the time to process. So from just high school, I'm not talking about middle school, elementary school, just in high school, right? Because this is when the most of your development starts to happen. The personality that 54% of these children have, the personality they have when they're a senior, unfortunately, so many of them are going to keep their personality throughout their life. It's either good or bad. Yep. Okay. Some people, they mature and they develop as they go out into the world, they live life, and it happens. So the way that I feel at one point may not be the way that I feel at another point. We were watching this one person, you were watching him, I just caught the middle part of it, and it was a trans woman who said when she was in high school, I couldn't get the gist if she was saying she started to present or she was coming into her queerness, I think is what she said. What she called it.
What happened was when she was in high school, she said she was presenting as like gay, just being a gay man.
Mm-hmm.
and when she got to college, she decided to go through the transition or whatever the case. And I don't know what that looked like to her in high school, but but as a college, now transition to a full woman, I guess I don't know the ins and outs. But at the end of the day,
Well, well, my point, what I was trying to say is this: is that she waited until she was 19 and headed to college.
yeah,
She didn't do it in high. She went ahead and say, "Okay, this is how I am." And she said that she was popular in high school. They didn't care because they don't. I don't think kids these days care if somebody's
well,
getting.
she grew up in early 2000s.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I said these days
No, I think we can.
because she said she was popular. I don't remember even in high school for the two guys that appeared to be out. I don't remember anybody, bullying them or teasing them because whatever. So what I'm trying to say is this: I don't think we live in a society. The children. I don't think we live in a society where they're going to be ostracized because they are gay or they've decided to present a certain way while they're in high school. Right. What I don't agree with is these puberty blockers and all of this stuff before you're 18. Let the child mature enough to make their own decision. Me personally, I think a parent should say, when you can sign that paper yourself, you do it. I don't want to be, and say
I'm not
it.
paying for it. That's my issue.
I'm not even care about the money part of it because that means that you're responsible for whatever it is that happens. And what if when they turn 18, they're like, "You let me do this"? I mean, seriously,
Well,
right?
that can go
I
both
didn't
ways
want,
because I have anybody knows I have several kids,
and not even the child. Go ahead, sorry.
I have several kids. We have several kids, and the thing about it is, we have done things to allow them certain freedoms, and that has come back to bite us. So, people, there's no cut dry way of raising kids.
No, it's gonna be an issue either way. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, me personally, I would not. I I do not totally agree with the Republicans on this because if it's just it's a clinic, so if it's gender affirming treatment, just clinic checkups, the mental health part,
Yeah.
all of this, we're assisting with that because we want to be sure that you're treated properly, that you're not ostracized, that you're not degraded, that you're not
Belittled.
prejudiced against because this is who you are. Okay.
Yeah.
The other part of it with the puberty blockers and the hormones and all that stuff, if you're under 18, I think you should be waiting. I think it should be something, maybe at least 17, on the other
That's
side.
what I was getting ready to say. That's
On
what I
the
was
other
getting to say.
side, but
I
not.
can see.
Yeah, if your mama still got a sign for you to get it, no. That's how I feel about it. And they are, if you stop taking them, then you're just going to go through puberty. The puberty blockers.
Okay, so so knowing this, my thing is if you stop taking the puberty blockers and it just goes back to normal and your puberty happens, then hey, at 17 ish, going into 18 ish, then I can say that I probably, long as I'm just gonna be honest, I ain't paying for nothing. Not because I don't agree, but that's a choice you're making. You need to finance that choice. Like that's a grown man, grown woman's choice. Then hey, do grown, handle your business like you. Let me know that's what you want to do, and I take you to the appointments. I sit there and wait till you get through. I support you because here's the way I subscribe. Give me a live, gay, lesbian, trans child versus a dead, confused one any day. I don't have to. It's not my life to live, so I'm gonna love you regardless. Whether it's not about agreeing or disagreeing. A lot of people might say, "Well, ain't no way." Well, that's okay. Then that's between you and your kid. I have I have a couple of kids that identify with that lifestyle, and I still love them for who they are. That's your lifestyle. Are you happy? Is somebody doing something to you? Then let me know. We'll handle it a different way. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna turn you away. Oh well, if you choose to be this lifestyle, I'm not doing all that. Hey, look, life's too short. Whatever make you happy, be happy. But as far as these surgeries and all of that for a minor, I I and I don't know how far even Dwayne Wade is with his daughter. I think she changed her name and
I think she's just changed her name. She's just presenting.
yeah, but as far as taking these pills
I don't
and
know if they're
these
doing the
surgeries,
hormone thing. That's
the blocking
I don't know.
hormones, if it's not a permanent situation, then maybe. You know what I'm saying? If he's 17 on that half, you 17 and you 6 months to your 18th birthday, and I guess I say that because I was 17 and it's a totally different situation, but I was like 17 and a half when my mother found out I was smoking. The boyfriend she had at the time told her, he's smoking. She said, well, he's finna be 18, ain't nothing I can do about that. And at the end of the day, you finna be 18, there's nothing I can do about that. So at 17 and a half, if you feel as though at 17, almost 18 years old, you feel like that's really what you want to do, especially if you said something about it as a younger adult, I mean, a younger teenager, and you've been going, and because all I'm going to tell you is I want you to go to therapy until you get to this point. And if you're still at that same situation, you're still on that same thing, okay.
And not forcing your kids. And I'm not saying that all these people are forcing their kids, but that's the question I always have is your child came and told you, I'm gay, I'm a lesbian, whatever it is, right? Just that. Okay, they told you that. Or if or your child came and told you, I want to transition, whether they're, boy or girl, born boy, girl. Okay. If they told you that, that's one thing. But if all they first told you is that they were gay, that's it, right? I'm a lesbian or I'm gay, homosexual, whatever. So did they tell you they wanted to do all this stuff or did you suggest it? So do you want to do X, Y, and Z? I think we also live in a society where as parents, some of us want to be so supportive that
we go too far.
We go too far. And I wonder if some parents now are going too far. They're supporting, but it's a difference between supporting and sabotaging, right? I can support you without putting things in your head. I can support you without telling you, well, this is your next step. Well, you don't know what the next step is because all they did was tell you. That was
we
it.
Just had a conversation.
You just having a conversation. That's it. And then you want to go so far, you want to do the videos and say my child is this and I support and all that. But did they tell you they wanted you to do a video and tell everybody, that you support them? I don't need you to do that. I just need at home. So if something happens
18,
out in the world, I come back home and this could be my safe haven, right? So I think that is also part of this, is that some parents may just be, the kids came and said X, Y, and Z. Okay, I'm going to find what you need and we're going to go do this. I think some of these parents, their kid told them and you went with it
too far.
Too far. I didn't tell you all that, but I'm going to ride with you because you the mama, or the daddy.
And you support me.
And you supporting me. So I'm going to go with you. So I think that all of that needs to be in the conversation. I think that when these children are going to, before they give them the hormone treatments, if places like Vanderbilt or whoever else, children are able to get these gender affirming treatments, if they are having the conversations with the children, I seriously think they need to have conversations with the parents as well. The parents need therapy.
So tell me this. Do you think that as a parent, and we've had this conversation, that you should buy the clothing that aligns with the assignment that they feel like they should have?
I wouldn't.
Okay, because I wouldn't either. I'm sorry. Here's the thing. And I don't want to sound like, because my kids have said I sound, I guess, like harsh.
I wouldn't, but then I also wouldn't want my child to feel like I don't support them. But the reason why I wouldn't, again, because if you're under 18, I need to know this is not a shock factor thing. And I know somebody be saying, oh my gosh, it's not that deep. Or if they say it, it is what it is. But I know kids. So I need to know that this is not a shock factor thing. Is this a phase you're going through? What are we doing? And that's what I would say. I would say, okay, you told me X, Y, and Z. Well, I support you. I'm going to love you either way.
Yep.
It doesn't even matter. I'm going to love you either way. But, okay, so the next step is you want to do this. Okay, are you wanting to do this for a shock factor thing? Are you trying to figure this thing out? What's going on? When our children, our 18-year-old, well, they were 18. Now they're, oh my God, they're 22.
Yeah.
The 22-year-olds, when they graduated, there were 2 trans.
Oh yeah.
I hate to say girls, but they not adults. You know what I mean. They're not grown like
Children.
me, so they were 2 trans children, but they were girls or trans girls.
Everybody was cool with them.
And everybody knew them. One of the young girls, her people were there. They were combing her hair after everybody graduated to make sure her hair was in place. I think the other one, which was very interesting, they both had family support, but one of them had more family support than the other one.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting and very telling. But they were walking around school. Now, here's the thing. I would have to ask the kids to verify this, but I don't think they started out high school presenting.
Yeah.
Right? I think that between junior and the end of senior year, I think they started.
That's why I say if you're a senior, you're in the 12th grade year, you're 17 and a half, you're almost 18 years old, we can have a different conversation because at that point you're almost adult. You're almost grown, and
this is what you made this real decision. This is exactly
really
what you want to do. Okay.
Then I ride with you.
But I think if you're 14,
I'm not paying for anything. This is something that you want to do. You're gonna have to get a job. I'm not saying I'm gonna take your money because any of my kids will tell you, 18 years old till you turn 18, you can work 100 hours a week, and I wouldn't care what you do with your money. That's on you. So if that's what you want to do your thing. You can buy and wear whatever you choose to do at that point, in that little period, that window between graduating and adulthood. Because at that point now, I need to make sure that you really can function in that space and make sure that daddy there to catch you, if that makes sense. I want you to understand I'm always here to catch you, no matter what happens. Because that's a dangerous life for both sides, be it transitioning from female to male to female. And I need you to always know the world may not love you, but daddy do. So I don't know. I think that's a very interesting situation. I would love to know what people think. What do you?
Oh yeah, how young is too young to transition? Would you allow your 9-year-old? Now you really buying a 9-year-old clothes. Now, when the child is in high school, they can get jobs between 14 and 15 and up, of course. So if they go buy them some whatever they buy them, you bought it with your money, whatever. But you got to go to the store to buy the 9-year-old. So how young is too young? Also, that if the 9-year-old comes and tells you, I think you said you saw one where the guy was 4 years old.
Yeah. But then it said that he was a boy.
That's not even what he wanted. He just people put in his head, that's because he liked dresses. So then the grandmother put him on dresses and had him thinking, "Oh, this is what I'm supposed to." Oh my gosh. Okay, that was that, and that was in the 40s, the 1940s. And then there's a HBO documentary.
Was another 4-year-old
with some 4-year-olds and the parents, because the children they're feminine or masculine, whatever it is. So they felt they needed. We as people
need to
reevaluate, and we got to stop being so woke that we're asleep. Because if your child is feminine, if you have a boy and your child is feminine, and you have a girl and she's masculine, that does not mean that your child is gay. That does not mean that your child, that does not mean that.
Where,
it just means that you have a feminine little boy and you have a masculine little girl. Okay, that is okay, right? The girl is masculine and the guy's feminine. Like he got the eyelash, he got his eyelashes, he got his eyebrows. He says, "I do not wear dresses, but I like flowy things." So he wears dusters and stuff, and it's not his job. He wear the boots with the heels, but he a man.
He do manly things.
And they do what the people do.
Yeah, so.
And she don't mind. She be picking him up, but that works for them.
Yeah.
So if people who have children, just because they act a certain way, quit telling little boys that they are punk because they're crying. Quit telling little boys that they can't do certain. If they want to play with the doll, let them play with the doll. I was listening to T.D. Jakes this morning, Bishop Jakes. He said maybe if they had let us play with dolls, baby dolls, when we were little boys, we wouldn't be out here making so many babies.
Huh? I don't know.
So if they want to play with the, that don't mean that they gay. Let them take care of them babies, so they know what they're getting into when they get older. We've got to stop. We've got to stop being so woke, and we've got to stop being so sleep. You can't. There's some people that are woke and sleep at the same time. Just because your child comes and tells you, quit running with it, thinking that if you tell them no, or you tell them let's talk about this, that means that you don't support the LGBTQ community. That doesn't mean that. That means that you're being a good parent, that you're listening to your child. If you take them to therapy, that doesn't mean that you're trying to pray the gay away. It just means we need help because we having this therapy together.
Yeah.
We need help to figure this out so I can parent
this
new child, because this is not the kid that I raised. And I'm not trying to be, whatever, but it's not. So now you got to figure out how to navigate this so that you do what you need to do, but also to be sure that your child, what functions, what are you feeling? What is this? What is this feeling like for you, so that we can be sure that we're navigating this properly. And I'm not mishandling you, and you are going to be able to be a productive person. That's it at the end of the day. So again, let it make sense. How young is too young to begin the talks of transitioning?
I'm not
hormone blockers and all of that.
We're not doing hormone blockers until you get. I'll be honest with you. Knowing what you read and what you said about hormone blockers, I'm slightly different about that. Only because it's reversible. If you can't drive, ain't nothing happening. We definitely not doing nothing. You ain't got no licenses, and I mean that in the sense that you can't even drive. Why you worry about? Why are we having a conversation about you taking some pills when you can't even drive a car? That's just not gonna happen. So, but you want to be, and like I said, I can't say how I would act because I'm not in, nor have I ever been in that type of situation. The furthest I've dealt with is, my kids, some of them liking the same sex, and that's their business. I don't really care who you sleep with. That doesn't do with me. So, but as far as that's concerned, I've never experienced that, so I really can't say. I can say how I would hope to be, which is understanding enough and having the words to articulate my support, but at the same time articulate that there comes a standard or a expectation on both parts. You're 19 years old. We're definitely not doing nothing. 16, we will explore some things. We might even have a conversation, not guaranteeing that we're going to do anything. We might wait till you're 17. You say, well, Daddy, I really, really, really want to do this. And you can show that you're mature enough to understand and handle this. Maybe at 17, it's probably about the youngest I'm going to go. Again, because I'm looking at it from a standpoint, in a year, you're going to do what you want to do anyway. So, again, I'm not paying for it. I'm not none of that. And you can call me what you want. But I feel as though if you can provide it for yourself, whatever it is that you want to do, then and you're willing to do what it takes to get to that point legally, then I say do it. And here's the thing I have, because so many trans people, I hear these stories of them becoming sex workers because they don't have the support. Now I don't know if that's because they don't have the support, have a place to stay, or what that support looks like.
Trans people.
Yeah.
Well, I think, and this is I think
like the
right.
one that I seen earlier. She said she did sex work to be. I think her name Kia. I can't remember what her name is. I put her YouTube in the description, but she said she did it to pay for the hormone shots.
Well, I think what happens is this. they don't have the support, right? Which we just talked about that.
Yeah.
Support your children. Quit sending them out and saying, quit. Just support your kid. Because then this is what happens. So many of them end up doing that because, especially, I don't know about the women, because we always hear about
Trans.
let me go back. I don't know about the trans men,
Yeah.
because we always hear about trans women. So I don't know how it affect. Let me be honest. You know what? I bet it probably does not affect trans men as much. Right?
I agree to that.
Like men who actually are trans. Because see, there's some lesbian. There are lesbians who are not, who may have the facial hair, have the short haircuts, dress
Masculine.
what's called masculine, but they do not consider themselves trans men. I know this for a fact because my niece has she have a little stubble, and she dresses really nice. I love her shoes, but she dresses what would be considered masculine, and she says, I'm a woman.
Yeah.
She's not considered herself a trans man. So this is I'm making a point. What I'm trying to get to is that I think maybe some of it is that women, though they look like that, they can still be a woman, right? I can still use my same ID, even though she's gotten pulled over before. They saw her name was Nicole, but she had to say, I'm a woman, but trans women, their driver's license, their birth certificate, all this stuff. So go get a job. So when they need the ID for the I-9, they stuff say Michael Henderson, but they look like Michelle Henderson. And somebody may not want to hire them, which to me is discrimination, but they may not want to hire them because they don't know how to handle it. They don't know what to do, right? And so because of that,
They don't want to be offensive.
So it's probably so for the employer, which I think this is crap, especially in the day and age we live in, that it's easier for you just not to hire them. So then they end up having to do other things. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know this. I have not asked anybody, but just from things that we've watched, I think that's the thing.
You remember the movie we watched?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the thing.
That was the
that
comment.
Because she tried to get a job, I think, or something.
And she said, well, how you going to get a job? And you looking like...
You look like, right.
Martha Stewart, and you running here with your name Bobby Jones. You know what I'm saying?
And they were prostitutes.
Yeah.
They were sex workers. I'm sorry, they were sex workers.
Yeah.
And I think that's why. So maybe I answered my own question. Maybe that's why trans women, not a lot of them, but a cross section of them end up doing that.
Because the people turn into trans men, you turn it into a male. So you can go get a job, and depending on what your name is, right? It may be a unisex name.
I mean, but like I said, it's a lot of them may not even be, but they still are just.
Yeah,
they
that
look,
too.
You know what I'm saying? They're women.
They're women. They live as
and women.
So
are
now you look at a gay woman,
right,
versus a trans man. So
that's something else. That's something else totally about that, right? I don't know.
I would love to get, and this goes back to a video we did before. I would love to have a conversation with a trans male and a trans female to get their perspective.
Actual trans male and trans female and an actual trans male, not just someone that's
one who is fully immersed, living their life
as
in a male or a female, but were born in opposites. Because I would love to. I subscribe to the thought process. We can't heal if we can't understand one another. And I tell people on a regular basis, especially in the African American community, before you're like, I drive Uber sometimes. I used to, and I had a conversation with a young lady who was, I guess she was bi or lesbian, I can't remember. But the conversation, she stated who she was and kind of alluded to what her gender, her sexual thing was. Preference, yeah. And I couldn't think of it. And where we were going, I kind of knew where she was going anyway. But like I explained to her, when they see you, they see an African American. They see a black person. Before I know what your sexual preference is, I know what your race is. Before I know what your gender assignment is, I know what your race is. And I feel like as a people, especially in the African American community, we have to reevaluate what's important and what we need to, what the infighting needs to be, and that's not it.
Well, there should be no infighting.
I'm saying
in a perfect world.
exactly. But everybody ain't gonna see eye to eye. But that's one thing. Come on, we need to let that go. We need to find out, and a lot of that spans from not willing to talk and really understand what's going through the psyche of both sides. Because I can imagine being in a room full of people and feeling alone is probably the ideal what a trans person might go through. Not feeling accepted across the board. It's kind of like I would liken it to a person who is a mixed race. Because you always hear they say, especially when I say mixed race, I'm strictly talking black and white, because anything else, it's mixed race, but they don't really have the same issues, I don't believe, that a person would have if they were mixed with a white panther and a black panther.
And I've never considered, and this is totally off, I guess, maybe topic, but like I said, my niece she self-identifies as a lesbian. I have two cousins. One of them is more presenting masculine.
Yeah.
And the other is just, I guess we consider femme. I don't know what the word, I don't want to
Back in the day, I think they used to call them lipstick lesbians.
No, not her. She's just a girl. She do the wigs, nails, and all that.
Yeah,
but she's lesbian. Okay. I don't know about that. Then I have a niece who's bisexual. I have a cousin who's no longer here. May he rest in peace. He was gay. We knew it was something, but we were younger. It was in the 80s. I didn't have a word for it. We knew that it was something, but we didn't know until we got older. We were like, oh, right, okay. He moved away. He actually moved to San Francisco. But he passed away. Then I have a niece who she's mixed and she's bisexual. So the point of me saying, and then I have another niece, but she's a baby, and she is mixed. She's African American, Mexicano, and Caucasian. So the point of me saying that is that I am privy to, and that is for the mixed babies. I love them. We love them.
Yeah.
But that's something that just for me, I think about for them. That at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how they look, because they don't look like they black. Yeah. They're very bright and they have their hair straight and all that stuff. So, but they're black women. They're going to be black women. And I don't worry, but I don't want them to have to navigate prejudice from anybody, black, white, other, brown, whatever, right? Especially the little baby that's everybody. I think about that for my niece that's bisexual, for my cousins, for my niece is lesbian. I think about those things. I love them, and you want everybody else to love them, and you want everybody else to treat them
with respect.
With respect. Which is why I always say, and we didn't do it this time, the disclaimer that we support the LG. That's why, right? Even if I didn't know anybody, and I hope that I would still support, but I can't.
Daughters.
Right, I support. Right, I forgot about the babies.
Yeah.
So we support the LGBTQIA community, of course. But we're trying to make sense of some things, right? Yeah. Trying to make sense of the babies. I don't agree with you giving them hormone treatment. I don't agree with you doing any gender surgery on any child under the age of 18.
Yeah.
If they can't sign the paper for themselves,
then they don't need to have it.
I don't. And okay, that's so. If they stop taking the hormone treatments, then whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
I think the hormone is okay. So the hormones,
that blocker.
Because the hormones, I think, is a little different.
Now the puberty blockers, excuse me. Now I don't know about the hormone treatments. I'll have to look it up.
Because the hormone
puberty
treatment,
blockers are one thing.
The hormones, like for because estrogen is considered a hormone, right? I believe estrogen is a hormone.
So this article says many of the effects of hormone therapy are reversible if you stop taking them. The degree to which they can be reversed depends on how long you've been taking them. Some breast growth and possible reduced or absent fertility are not reversible. So
that's what I was going to say.
That. So hormones. So the puberty
not the hormone.
If you get, but I don't work at Vanderbilt and I don't know everything. But if they're doing puberty blockers and hormone treatments, yeah, I think the babies need to be 18.
Yeah.
And not 17. I mean, they need, if you can't sign the stuff for yourself, if you can't go to the doctor by yourself, I'm serious. If you can't do that yourself, no, I don't believe these babies need stuff that
hormones. No. Hormone therapy totally off the grade to 18. The blocker, because it's reversible with little to no side effects. So that I'm okay, it's a little different. But when you start talking about taking hormones and testosterone and estrogen, for a boy, that gives you breasts. First of all, you want breasts, eat more meat, get fat. I don't know. Whatever you got to do. Work it out with your cerebral cortex or wait till you get 18. Women, I don't know, you want to grow a beard. I don't know. It might be genetically within you. Start shaving. You might start growing something. I don't know. You might well practice anyway. I'm just saying. I'm
the
not,
point of me saying all that was this. This is why right here. But the point of me is that it doesn't mean that we don't support. But with anything, right? It's just some things
I don't agree with.
Don't make sense to me. So hence the name of the podcast. Let it make sense. So that's what we were trying to, let it make sense. You got anything else?
No,
okay.
It.
So before, of course, as always, please leave any comments down below because, again, we're trying to make sense out of it. If it's something that we don't know, if it's something that we're ignorant about, we don't mind you schooling us about it in the comments. Just remember to be, respectful. We can disagree without being disrespectful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you'll know when another episode is coming.
Check us out on Spotify and other streaming networks. If you know someone who is intelligent enough who would not mind having the conversation.
Not somebody to argue. We don't want to argue with anybody. We would love to have
educated
discourse, right? Nothing disrespectful, nothing yelling, nothing mean, no, degrading talk, right. Then, send them our way.
Yeah, we can laugh, chill. It's funny because it doesn't matter. I don't negate anyone's experience. I don't negate anyone's truth. I think that everybody has a right to live their truth to their reality, whatever that looks like to them. I've said it before. Everybody has the right to be happy. Whatever works for you being happy, then everybody else should respect that and move on. So, with that being said, if you have nothing else?
Nope, I don't think I got anything else.
Make sure you hit that thumbs up and let it make sense.
Bye.
Peace.